Yes, you can start now.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Harsh Agrawal. I am the co-founder of NEERX, and at NEERX, we are redefining agriculture with our hardware and software solution to empower farmers and agribusinesses. I'll give you an idea how basically NEERX was started, what was the starting point for it, where it is today, what we are trying to solve. I'll try to cover that within this, a very good session which is being organized by Agriculture Information. I'll be covering all of these points, and maybe some of you or even already who are working can draw some inspiration, can get a directional view of where Indian agriculture is, what are the pain points, how those can be solved. So I'll try to cover that, and I'll try to share it through my journey through this. I would say a solution deck that I'll be handling. So we co-founders basically when before even NEERX was started, and we were in college. We both co-founders. So me and Nikita Tiwari, we were the co-founders. We were in college when we were exposed to a very deep rural problem, and this was through a IIM Ahmedabad and UNICEF internship that we got to experience this in Gujarat. And we were actually made to live with very marginal farmers facing a variety of challenges, uh, be it in decision making, be it having a trial and error mindset while growing the crop, while actually harvesting it and then taking it to the market. So there is no data backed decision that was happening when we saw the conditions of the farmers, and that condition is very uniform across India. So there may be certain pockets where farmers are flourishing and they don't actually need any kind of support, but 85 to 90% of the farmers in India still look up to solving their day-to-day problems at the farming level, at the market level. So this is something which we saw while we were in college, and then 1.5 years later, we were deeply thinking about this. We were developing certain prototypes because we come from an engineering background. So we thought, why not actually use our background and engineering to solve certain problems at least to start with. So that's how it started, and in 2018, between 2018 to 2019, we came in touch with ISRO. So ISRO is having its own division where they develop satellites, where they analyze the data that is coming from those satellites and then deliver that information to various stakeholders across India. So in that process, we got to know it, because from outside, when we see ISRO, we think only about rockets. But it is more than that. They are solving problems at a much more deeper level, at much more wider level. And once we got to know, we sort of pitched to them that these are the problems that we are looking at, and we want to ensure that the problem and the solution has a directional sense. So ISRO helped us out in developing our first prototype, I would say. So it was a handheld sensor for agriculture, for solving soil and crop health stress. And that journey basically was a very fruitful journey where we got to understand problem for a macro level, from a government level, from a stakeholder level. And by 2019, we sort of registered our company, and in 2019 itself, we realized that more than 60% of the world's crop yields are now dependent on climate change, and every year that number has been increasing. Our global population would reach 10 billion by 2050, and at current levels we need to augment at least by 50-70%. Whatever we are doing with our supply chain on the farming side, on the production side, there needs to be certain augmentation to be able to adapt to those climate changes. So one is farmer may be waiting for rain. So this seems like a very simple problem that in urban area, when we live in urban area, we just can open an umbrella when we see a rain. But a farmer cannot do that for all of his crop. He cannot just open an umbrella if there is sudden rain, of if there is a sudden thunderstorm. So he needs to be aware in advance. He needs to be aware of what is the solution, what is the cure, what is the prevention. And so those are time based decisions, those are data backed decisions. And then solution are also very important from the lens of what molecule to apply, when to apply, how to apply. So in books, in textual format, all that information is available through variety of sources. So there are hundreds of crop calendars, there are hundred of package of practices which are floating around in the market. But reading a text and taking decision based on it has never worked, at least for agriculture, because it's a living process. And it is interacting with climate, it is interacting with water, it is interacting with fertilizer, pesticide, any kind of seed variety that he's putting in. So all of these changes needs to be handled in a dynamic way. So that's how we started developing this whole a holistic solution, where we derive data from multiple data sets for those specific farms, for those farmers whom we work with. So first and most foremost important data is again weather. But then to make weather data actionable, to convert it into irrigation or nutrient planning is itself a huge or humongous task, because each and every crop, each and every variety of crop respond differently to these parameters. Then second part is satellite imagery. And satellite imagery, maybe 10 years back it was at a nascent stage. 5 years back it became a very powerful tool, and now it has become an most important tool for agriculture now. So satellite imagery from various sources is now coming into prominence, and it is a very crucial part of the modeling that we are doing. Then the rest of the parameters are mostly from the farmer side, from the farmer's input. What he's doing on the field, what kind of activities planning. So all of that is what we are pulling in as information. And then again, geo-based features, what type of crop he's growing, where he's located, what kind of village profile is there. So all of that information we take in. But then again, a major thing which could not be solved by even satellite data or other data sets was the below the ground information. So for that specific below the ground information, because satellites are taking shape, they are trying to get to this problem where they are able to analyze the soil moisture content, the nutrient value of the soil, but still they are not there yet. So again, I was highlighting this sensor that we developed. We call it Shul. It's a handheld portable sensor which goes into the soil, and within 2 seconds, it is able to guide a farmer around the irrigation practice, nutrient practice, and overall thermal stress, which helps identify pest and disease as well. So this sensor can be plugged into a farmer's field. So let's say there is a 2.5 acre field. A farmer can go into the field, plug this sensor, and he will get to know for the next 7 days what his irrigation plan is, whether to apply 10,000 liters, when to apply it, at what frequency to apply it. All of that information a farmer gets. This sensor is one of a kind sensor that we developed in India, and it's a proprietary technology which we developed jointly with ISRO and got it validated. And it is now counted as among the top 5 sensors globally. And the major challenge, of course, was that because in India, the land is fragmented, the income is low, the ROI needs to be shown within certain amount. So the major part was that these sensors, a similar technology, let's say, were available from Europe or US. The cost for those sensors was somewhere around 1.5 lakh, 2 lakh, 2.5 lakh. So those sensors were not even accessible to academy or research institutions, let alone be farmers. So in our case, what we did was we first of all benchmarked our sensor, validated it with ISRO, and then on the cost part also, it is almost 1/10 of what other foreign companies are offering, and which would never even reach farmers' hand. So this is something that we did, and overall, as an onboarding process, we sort of focused on how to get farmer to share his information as well. That is also a very crucial parameter. So we try to limit it. We try to limit how much a farmer effort is going in, and visually how we are delivering the information. So these are the two things we are working on, because at modeling level a lot of things are being already sorted, and it's a continuous growing thing. So this model, the data sets, this is a growing exercise, and it will grow and evolve as and when we move forward. And so now we are present in more than 12 states across India, 4 different countries. The sensor is being used, the platform is being used. We have our own mobile app, we have our own platform where all of this information, all of this tech can be accessed directly via farmers, agri input companies, business owners, anybody can access it. And on the onboarding flow, after onboarding, actually, how we deliver the information is in a very intuitive color coded formats. So let's say a 2 acre farm is very, I would say, intuitively presented to a farmer, to any extension agent. So let's say there are very dead spots, or I would say very, stress in certain part of farms. So there specifically a farmer can take action. So let's say the three major things which goes into the field at the time of production is water, nutrient, and crop protection. So by crop protection I mean pesticide, herbicide, fungicide. So these are the three most important parameters which again then interacts with climate, which interacts with weather at that specific location. So based on that, we kind of prepare these intuitive color coded maps for farmers and then deliver the information of what needs to be done for the next 7 days. What is the action plan for the next 7 days? Then we have a lot of machine learning and AI models as well. So because we have been collecting data sets for over past 5 years now, so based on that, we have a very deep understanding of which kind of crop there is, what is the nutrient use efficiency in a specific region for certain kind of crop. So based on that, we are able to recommend nutrients, its dosages, stage specific dosages, and then also augment it with the help of satellite or IoT data. So that is something what we are aiming to do, to be able to utilize all the existing data sets, then model it, and then sort of share it with the farmers. And in terms of the market, what also happened with us is we saw that one is, of course, because we were working with government, and a lot of intervention is again coming from government and FPOs, certain kind of organizations. So for scaling from business perspective, we always relied on them and we took support from them, and a major portion of our business came from these B2B, B2G organizations till 2023. After 2023, we then again sort of rethought our process. We wanted to scale it to, let's say, 5 million farmers, 10 million farmers. And then we realized we do need a partner. We need a very good partnership there, where we are able to actually have a good quality of input data, good quality of usability or users, and then be able to deliver it through a wide variety of platform, let's say WhatsApp, IVRs, and maybe dashboards, both internally and externally. And at this at same point of time, only in the past 6 to 7 months, development started taking shape, and DeHaat came in touch with us. DeHaat is now India's number one agri-tech company, and they are growing at a very fast pace. So with DeHaat, we saw that they have almost 13.5 million farmers within their bucket. They have 18,000 DeHaat centers is what they call them. So 18,000 farmer touch points where they are able to deliver the solutions to the farmers through a variety of means, be it agri input, drone services, soil testing, all of that they are doing very well, and for quite some time now. And so we saw a vision alignment there. We saw that this thing, this NEERX can actually scale and have a multifold impact with DeHaat. And so then recently, NEERX was acquired by DeHaat, and NEERX is now fully part of DeHaat. We are now working together to deliver these solutions and have a forward and backward integration. So one is we work with farmers now directly as well, but on the back end, backward side, we are also working with a lot of agri input companies, a lot of you know ag input suppliers, output companies, procurement companies, to be able to augment their strategy as well. Because now these agri input companies are also aware that a lot of exploiters are exploitation has happened in the past for whatever reason. For past 20 25 years, a lot of exploitation has happened. There was a continuous stress on the farmers to produce more in as much less as possible. So that thought process is going away now. There is a sustainability angle that these companies are now aware of, and I think sustainability is the starting point for this as well, where we are actually seeing technology helping farmers make good decisions and get good ROI on that. So let's say, for example, there is easily let's say if I take F&B as a segment, fruit and vegetable as a segment, there we clearly see 50 to 60% reduction in water, 15 to 20% increase in yield, 20 to 30% reduction in pesticide usage, and even nutrient usage as well. So this is something which everybody has started focusing on, to deliver the farmer. Then only you can be able to have a very good relationship with the farmer as well. Be it you are a corporate, be it you are a government. So government also, if I talk about specifically state governments, they have also started shifting their focus on delivering these very precise advisories. And government doesn't stop at taking help from other companies as well. So I would appreciate government in this case, that they are very open to it and they're actively working towards it. So there is agri stack also, which is taking shape, and which will be very fruitful to have farmer details accessible to the private companies, and then being able to provide advisories over it. So this is something which is already taking shape. And then on the other hand, what we see is um, what we see is there is a roadmap to it. There is a roadmap to it. Not every problem in this space can be solved so easily, or at any given point of time. So let's say if I decide, key technology solutions, there is a whole bucket of technology solutions that we want to implement. And so day zero I decide that this specific piece of advice is for anybody who's working in this domain, that if you decide you start working on agriculture or agriculture technology problems at day zero, because crop has a season, crop has certain duration, a process which is necessitated by the nature itself. So if you start solving for something at day zero, you would require 2 to 3 seasons to be able to crack just one crop even. So it is a time dependency is there, of course. And maybe when you start doing or building something in any domain, be it agri input, be it technology, be it satellite data, weather, whatever, it's a time dependent activity. So whenever you pick agriculture as your domain, or something you want to innovate in, something you want to work with, you need to have an idea of the timeline. So that timeline can be somewhere from 1 year to 2 years. It can be between any of these two domains, two time domains. And it is necessary that once you start putting in your efforts, there is a lot of support available in India. And agriculture in India is a very rich uh, activity, I would say. A lot of livelihoods depend on it. A lot of world eyes are looking towards India, from the perspective that India is would be the one to be adopting these sustainable practices, progressive practices, technological practices, and being able to deliver very good output from those practices. So now India, in a lot of fruits and vegetable segments, in lot of field crop segment, India is on the top 5. And from top 5, the aim here is to get to maybe top 3, or even first in that, for as a matter of fact, because there are ample of resources. The only thing that we actually require is the vision to get there, the I would say an intention to get there. And I think we are doing it, and so you can also do it. There is no good or bad in this, but yeah. So I'd like to take a pause here, and maybe if the agriculture information team can put up some questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Harsh, for the presentation. If you are comfortable and okay, you can switch on your video.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. Okay. So there could be some questions which you must have already answered. Still, I will read out them.
Sure.
So, how did NEERX integrate IoT devices and satellite data to support decision making for small and marginal farmers?
Correct, correct, correct. So I would again classify IoT, satellite, weather into different data sets, but they have each and everything has correlation. So let's say from IoT sensor, let's say from Shul, I am deriving soil moisture. So at day zero, I'm getting soil moisture. From weather, I'm getting the 7 day forecast. So from that 7 day forecast, I'm able to understand ki what would be the crop water requirement. So these two things have correlation and they need to be correlated. Otherwise, in silo, let's say only if I tell a farmer about soil moisture, it does not help that farmer. It does not help him to actually take any action. But when I interlink IoT data with weather data and satellite data, a farmer is able to know that my current situation is this. Let's say my deficiency in nutrient or water is X%. And after I provide him access to weather data, which we do at our end, which we don't sort of rely on farmer to derive information for, a farmer is able to know that for next 7 days, 10 mm, 15 mm, whatever mm, and in liter level also would be my requirement. This at this stage, my nutrient dosage are not good enough, or I'm applying excess dosages. So all of this has to be interlinked, and this is done at a very complex modeling level. Process is there to do it, but then again there are world standards of how this data is integrated. So yeah, if somebody gets on it, it can be done.
And what types of sensors are typically used in NEERX IoT devices and what kind of real time data do they collect?
Correct, correct. So again, as in presentation, I highlighted that above the ground data is available from let's say IMD is having its own radars, ISRO, NASA, JAXA, they are having satellites which are observing Earth at different daily frequencies, maybe in 3 days, 5 days, whatever. So above the ground data is has improved and is improving a lot day by day. So that data just needs to be processed well. So from that perspective, what we have understood is above the ground, it does not make much sense to have certain sensors. Let's say in US they have sensors mounted on tractors, combined harvesters to understand the field conditions. But from India specific geography, above the ground sensor doesn't make much sense. So therefore we worked on a below the ground sensor which helps understand soil, crop, and their interlinked response. So how a soil responds to a crop, a specific crop, and how a crop responds to any changes in the soil. So for that, we developed a handheld sensor. We call it Shul, and it's a very high-end technology based on dielectric measurement. So we are able to analyze any and every kind of soil and any crop growing within that soil. We are able to analyze what is the current status, whether the crop is absorbing the nutrient in a right way, whether the water needs are sufficient, and then also quantify the actions based on that sensor data. So primary sensor is this. Second, then we third party wise, we are working with other companies as well, specifically on the pest and disease side. So pest and disease is a major challenge. So then there are fly traps, then there are pathogen detection devices, which we see would become a very important set of IoT devices in the future that should be worked upon. And then the third would be again tractor mounted related devices which can be sort of helpful in a medium to large scale farmer kind of setup. So yeah, we think these are the few sensors that we are already using, and few sensors we have in roadmap around this only pest and disease mechanism or understanding crop and soil response, but mostly from a nutrient irrigation pest perspective, and which cannot be seen through weather or satellite data. Yeah, so that is our focus.
Okay. And can you explain how satellite imagery is used to monitor crop health, moisture, stress, and pest outbreaks?
Yeah, yeah. I'll try to explain it. Uh, um, from I would say satellite is again a sort of a camera only. So if I want to put it in simpler terms, it's like a camera only, and it's a camera which is rotating around the Earth, uh, and it revisits. So there are different satellites, and they have different kind of revisit frequency. And by revisit, I mean that, let's say, if I'm standing in Nasik, Maharashtra, and a satellite is taking image on day zero, the revisit would be after 3 days, 5 days, 10 days, 11 days. So depending on which kind of satellite it is, there will be a revisit. So continuously for each and every location across India, I am getting multiple photos or images of that specific location. Now the that photos, from I would say technology perspective, there are different bands. So one is like visible band, like how humans see colors. So there are optical images which a satellite is capturing. Then there are hyperspectral, multispectral, microwave images, so which we also cannot see from our eyes. So these are two very crude high level categories of how satellites are capturing the data across the Earth. From these data sets, whenever a satellite is capturing data, flying above a location, a satellite is able to see that certain portions of the farm are having stunted growth. So there they capture the leaf area, there they capture the actual soil moisture values, there they capture any pest or disease incidences over that specific farm. A satellite is able to capture that image, but it needs to be processed. So a company like NEERX, a company, any other analytics company does that. So satellite image again is a raw imagery. You have to process it. Based on the processing, you will get to know that this specific farm is struggling with 20%, 30% deficiency of water. 20-30% of the farm is afflicted by certain kind of pest and disease, or 20-30% of the farm is suffering from certain nutrient deficiency. So in simpler terms, we sort of consider it as a camera, but a camera which has a higher capability and higher coverage compared to what human eyes can see. So if I'm standing on a field, I'll be able to observe on day-to-day basis only a few area of the field, a few segment of the field. But if a satellite is flying over a certain region at any given point of time, a single pixel itself is 10 by 10 kilometers, 3 by 3 kilometers. So it is able to capture a very large area of the field, and which makes all of that sense to be able to deliver information to the farmers. So again, there are challenges on accuracy, on resolution, but that again is being solved very well through private satellite launches. So a lot of companies have come up in this domain as well, who are developing the satellites with better revisit frequency, with better resolution, with better accuracy. So yeah, that is something which is already in progress as well.
Okay. And how can these technologies help reduce input cost and increase yield for small scale farmers?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So if we see from a farmer's lens, what really is the major challenge? The major challenge are, I would say, three things. So one is hindsight. So hindsight is how you look back and analyze key as a farmer what mistakes I might have done which have caused that problem. But that hindsight is also limited by certain experiences. So a farmer can only, let's say, if he's growing chili, and if there was a case of downy mildew, just because he did not take certain kind of spray at the right time in the last season, so in this season he would change his practice. He would actually take preventive measure in a better, faster, and efficient way. So that is a hindsight decision that a farmer is making. But again, it's a very narrow decision, because only when in hindsight or in historically, if he has seen a problem, then he will be able to solve it. So hindsight problems can be solved once you have the right data sets in place, those right experiences of different farmers across India in place. So I think It's a very collaborative exercise which happens between government, private players, growers, farmer producer organizations. So a lot of companies, a lot of these organizations are partnering to solve that. So one is that. Second is insight. So what is happening currently should be delivered at the right moment, right time. So for insight, the right time is now. So let's say if a farmer inserts a sensor, if a farmer is trying to understand the weather knowledge, it needs to be delivered within few milliseconds. I would not say even minutes or hours. It needs to be delivered within few seconds. So let's say if a thunderstorm is approaching, and let's say a farmer wants to take certain action on his field, so that information needs to be delivered right now and then. And for that we have to analyze how that thunderstorm is forming, how it's approaching certain region. So there are very good ways to do it, and that falls under somewhere under insights. And the next part is forecast. So insight, now also we have got what action to take right now. But because this is a living process, this is something which we have to nurture. So the third bucket is the forecast part. For next 7 days, for next 15 days, for the next full crop cycle, what actions need to be taken? If they are structured well, if they are augmented well using the satellite, IoT, and these calendar, crop calendar data, a farmer actually saves on the input, so he can actually reduce the cost of his input. So within a season, let's say we plan to apply whatever, let's say 15 bags of urea, and within the moving season he realized that because the rain patterns have been such that urea absorption is better, and rain is falling in certain pattern that it, at any given point of time, the rain is not heavy. So all of these has to be handled by the crop model, but I'm just giving an example. So that 15 bags of urea can be reduced to 10 or 12 bags of urea, just because the rain patterns were okay. But to interpret that information is has to be done by companies, and this collaboration which is taking shape, and deliver that information to the farmers. So it's a moving exercise, so we call it rolling forecast. So let's say today I forecast something, there might be changes of what I'm forecasting on the next day, next to next day. So all of that will keep changing, those forecasts will keep changing, but it needs to be intuitive. So whenever we are delivering any information to the farmer, it needs to be intuitive, and it should be actionable. So that is how a farmer is able to save on nutrient, pesticide, uh, and then suggesting alternatives also. So from, if I talk from agri input perspective, so let's say in certain area, certain region, a certain molecule is available, but it's available from a different brand, or at, if at all the molecule is not available, so what is the alternative to it? So all of this has to be structured, has to happen through a model. There is no direct way to do it. Otherwise, again, everything is on trial and error basis, or the farmer is relying on the retailer shop to suggest him something. And the retailer shop, what is the disadvantage or what is the challenge there with the retailer also? So a retailer cannot go on to the farmer's field, he doesn't have that much time so that he can go to 500 farmers within his day to day handling of the shop. So that is a challenge. So there is certain blind decision making or blind recommendation happening from the retailer also. So that is something we and every agri tech is trying to solve, I would say, to eliminate those blind spots from retail, from actual farm, and from the information that we are delivering. Yeah.
And what kind of alerts or recommendations does the system provide to the farmer, like example, irrigation or fertilizer or disease?
Yeah. I'll show you. Is it fine?
Sure, sure.
Yeah, I'll just reshare my screen. Give me 1 second. So currently, we are doing a very good campaign for the farmers where we are delivering weekly information to those specific farmers.
Your screen sharing is not
Yeah,
visible. Sorry
yeah,
to interrupt.
yeah. I'm just turning it on. Just
Okay.
a moment. So I'll just share. Give me 1 second. Is it visible?
Yes.
Yeah. So on the screen, if you can see, what we do is on the back end, we take information. Let's say this is the case for DeHaat, where they are having farmers who are transacting on their retail shops, their company owned, company operated retail shops. And from there, we take in inputs from the farmer. So where is his farm located? What kind of crop he is growing? What is the geography? What is the area? All of that information we take in. Then we start the modeling process on our backend. And this modeling is sort of supported over cloud and it's happening on an automatic basis. We just keep monitoring it so to reduce any errors in that. But if you can see on the screen, so we are able to deliver very tailored advisory to the farmers. So let's say this is a jowar crop that a farmer is growing, and in this jowar crop, for the next 7 days, we are able to suggest what is the maximum temperature that can reach in his region. We are able to suggest what are the probabilities of rain, how much irrigation he has to take on field. So if you can see, we are suggesting 34.05 mm of irrigation, which needs to be applied if the rain does not happen. Then we are also able to predict the nutrient deficiencies for that region, specifically where the farmer is in. And this is again through combination of satellite data, machine learning, and AI. And then the third part is what kind of pest and disease which are occurring on the field, and how does a farmer really solve it. And then we are also redirecting him to the shops where he can actually purchase good quality of inputs, good quality of preventive measures that he can sort of follow. So yeah, this is one of the example of how we are doing it, and this simple message is delivered over WhatsApp, and we have seen very good response over it. So we have sort of benchmarked it with what a company calls a marketing sort of exercise, a marketing activity that a company does. And these responses, the actionable things that we are seeing through these advisories is really good. And even we spoke to the farmers to whom we are sending these advisories, they are really happy and they want to continue. So this also gives us a confidence, these advisories are working well, and it helps us get through thick and thin of the challenges on modeling, the challenges on data collection, all of that. It really motivates us to keep doing it.
Okay. And how farmer friendly is the interface or the mobile app used to access this data? Is it available in regional languages?
Yeah, yeah. So, what we've done is we've realized that uh, no single UI UX or no single platform is good enough. So certain group of farmers don't install any app. They either go to the shop directly. Certain group of farmers only read WhatsApp or text messages. Certain group of farmers install each and every app. Okay. And then there are certain group of farmers who even are having very good quality mobile phones, very good quality laptops, even in, let's say, I would say, fruit and vegetable segments. So these are, we have to be channel agnostic is what we have realized. So on WhatsApp, I already showed you that example. It's a very intuitive message. It's color coded. All of the right information is already there, and it the information is delivered it automatically on a pre-decided frequency, and it also keeps augmenting. So on dissemination also is a very big and huge opportunity plus challenge as well. So one is WhatsApp. We try to continuously deliver every week to certain cohort of farmers. We keep changing the cohort of those farmers as well, depending on, let's say, ki uska crop, if it is already in harvest or maturity stage. So there is no point on keep on sharing those advisories. So one is that. Second is we are making plug and play platforms for each and every kind of mobile app. So within DeHaat, they are already plugging in this advisory. So any other companies who wants to work with us, who wants to plug this advisory into their platforms, so we have a very easy plug and play mechanism. So there is certain engineering involved in it, but any company can sort of plug and play these platforms onto their mobile app. So one way is that. Third is then we develop certain crop specific dashboards as well, because let's say certain crops, let's say take example of banana uh, in Solapur, Jalgaon, There they are monitoring each and every plant on day to day basis. So for them we provide a very customized, very user friendly dashboard to them, which basically helps in decision making on, day to day, hour to hour basis. So yeah, these are 3 4 different kind of channels. And for the past 2 3 years we have been working on this actually, to be channel agnostic, because there is no single mechanism to do it. It's not like, a email, a WhatsApp, a text, a mobile platform will solve it. It needs to be uh, channel platform agnostic. Yeah.
Okay. Um, yeah. So, what is the typical resolution and frequency of satellite imagery used, and how reliable is it during cloudy or rainy regions?
Yeah.
Season, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, there are 2 3 things in it. So satellites which were launched previously or historically, the revisit frequency ranges from 11 days to 5 days to 3 days also in some cases. So let's say Sentinel-2, which is being used very extensively. So it's an optical based satellite. It provides a very good data at very good resolution across different geographies. So they are having uh, um, a good resolution, I would say. But again, it's not a daily visit. No previous or historic satellites are revisiting uh, any point of Earth daily. But then the private companies came up, private players came up, who deployed their own satellites or who are deploying a constellation of satellites. So there will be replicate satellites. So let's say one satellite would pass at any given point of time on day one. The other satellite would be passing on day two. The third satellite would be passing on day three. So a lot of private companies have started doing it already. There are already satellites in place, which is a private data, which is accessible on day-to-day basis, on daily basis as well. And in that we get resolutions uh, from up to 3 meters. So 3 meters is very good enough. So 3 meters is like, a 10 15 human steps. If we take it, sort of makes a 3 meter resolution. So within, let's say if I talk about banana, so 4 5 uh, I would say banana plants would be covered within that resolution. So it's a very good resolution if I want to manage a very highly sensitive crops. That's a very good resolution. But let's say even if not that, 20 to 30 meter resolution which we get from Sentinel-2 or from any other maybe Landsat, that is good enough to manage a little uniform, a little homogeneous farm is easily managed through these satellites. So now this was the case with optical. But now the question is, because the question is right, that in Kharif season there are cloudy conditions and it becomes challenging for, let's say, because it's a camera. So I would say ki if cloud comes, so there is a little fog while our camera is trying to capture something, and through optical imagery it's difficult. So then comes in play the microwave satellite. So Sentinel-1 is, let's say, a microwave based satellite, which is basically able to capture or tear through the clouds and able to capture those images. And so that data needs a little bit more heavy processing compared to Sentinel-2 or optical satellite, but it can be achieved, and based on that we can make those decisions. And I would also like to highlight a new mission which is coming up, which is already little delayed for past 2 3 years now. But there is one mission which is being done jointly by NASA and ISRO. It's called NISAR. So NASA ISRO Synthetic Aperture Radar mission, where they are having a dual band of satellite that they would be launching very soon, that will give us the capability to be able to eliminate clouds altogether. Any atmospheric disturbances will be eliminated with the help of these satellites. And historically, this would be the first time in which we will have all the satellite bands, all the satellite microwave bands in space, capturing this data. So if that data is stitched properly, if that data is utilized properly, it will unlock a huge amount of value for agriculture, and clouds, atmospheric conditions, all of that, will stop mattering. Apart from that, private companies also have put a lot of focus on this hyperspectral, multispectral data, specifically in the microwave bands. They have started putting focus in, which basically eliminates these atmospheric, cloudy condition challenges in the kharif season. So yeah, that is already something which is in place.
Okay. Yeah. So, how does NEERX ensure the accuracy of its crop predictions or stress alerts using satellite data?
Yeah, yeah. So again, satellite, as I told, because satellite is capturing data from a very high altitude. Okay, so of course there will be challenges. There are resolution challenges. There are accuracy challenges. So it all depends on how the data is being processed, how well it is being processed, and how you are taking a feedback. So let's say when we work with any agri input company, or when we work with any agri business, we ensure that there is some kind of ground feedback that is always coming in. Okay. So let's say when we work with DeHaat, as I told, they have 18,000 retail touch points on ground. They have, few thousand people who are working daily on farm fields. So they are always on farms. So when we deliver certain information to them, and when we get the right feedback, this is how we augment this data, because inherently there are challenges with the satellite data. Up to certain level they can be solved with technology, but then the next step is to have the right feedback mechanism from the field. So that is also a reason why we partnered with DeHaat, because their footprint in terms of ground presence, retail presence is unmatched, and their focus is actually to deliver right, accurate, and timely information to farmers. And so that the feedback loop is very important, and which we are taking in continuously within our models, within our advisories, we are continuously taking it. Apart from that we also keep doing a lot of validation exercises. So for with ISRO being our partner, we have a continuous validation exercise, a validation plan in place, which we keep pursuing. With agri universities, that plan is in place. We keep sharing the knowledge. The knowledge sharing happens two ways. So we share some knowledge, they also keep sharing some knowledge. So that is how we keep the validation, the accuracy in place. And of course there are hits and misses there as well. So of course, because it's a very challenging field, so there are hits and misses as well. So every time you have to sort of correct your path, correct your how you are modeling it. So we keep doing that.
Okay. And what are the what are the key challenges farmers face in adopting IoT and satellite-based farm intelligence? How are they addressed?
Yeah, yeah. So the challenge, because humans have a certain behavior, and in India, I would say there is, of course, a certain behavior. There's price sensitivity. So even if you are purchasing a mobile phone, if even if you are purchasing, let's say, any home appliance, so there is always a price sensitivity attached to it. And the value, when in India, if you're pitching certain value to a certain product, it needs to be shown fast, it needs to be shown at a minimum cost, and it needs to be shown at a very higher perceived value. This is how the behavior is. And uh, being farmers who are already resource constrained, cash trapped, uh, this ROI needs to happen very dynamically. So what we basically do is, we offer kind of free trials. At least when we are speaking to a group of farmers, we offer free trials. So we let them use the technology for 10-15 days, be it satellite data, be it the advisory. So advisory also, we are running currently, we are running it for free. We are not charging anything, because we believe that, first of all, building that relationship is important. Because agriculture is not that it started taking place only in 10-15 year backs. It's thousands of years old. So there are thousands of years of concepts, theoretical knowledge, field knowledge, which is already inbuilt. in the behavior. And let's say if a farmer is doing certain kind of farming in a certain way, if his son also comes in and starts doing farming, he would learn from his father, and his father has been following his forefathers, then his forefathers. So it's a very long chain of events which is happening on farm. And to be able to support it or to be able to show that value, we try to first focus on how do we build relationship with that farmer. So we kind of offer a very close hand holding support to that farmer by offering free trials. Second step is we try to continuously take feedback, get an understanding to him. So we are not in that mode that we want to sell something. This is not our purpose here. Of course, there is a commercial angle to it, but we believe that it is a long-term problem. It's not a short-term problem that I, come up with a solution. I manufacture 1 lakh units. I push people to sell it in the market, and after 1 year, that 1 lakh unit will go to 2 lakh. That then it will go to 5 lakh. It's not that this is not the case with the Indian agriculture. So that relationship building exercise is in place. And let's say for example DeHaat, they have been doing it with lot of manpower, lot of technology, lot of good intent, I would say. So farmer is the one, because they are very sensitive about each and everything. They know what your intent is. So first of all, the process is to clear your intent, have a clear a clarity in mind while we are trying to deliver that solution, apart from the accuracy, apart from the value that it offers. So yeah, this is the thought process that we follow when we are developing or providing something to a farmer.
Okay. So last two questions.
Yeah.
What is the cost of deploying these solutions on 1 to 5 acre farm,
Mhm.
and any financial support or subsidy available?
Yeah, yeah. So there are two things to it. One is, let's say, the advisory that we provide, first basic level of advisory, which we are targeting with a mass or niche, uh, mass scale of farmers, where we are targeting that at least 10 to 15 million farmers. We want to be sharing continuous advisory to those farmers. The cost is very minimal to the farmers. Currently we are doing it for free, but we are trying to offset that cost either when we are procuring something from them, so when the output purchase is happening, or while we are selling the input, we want to sort of add it as a coupon or as an added service. And that is, I would say, less than 500 rupees per season is what it would cost, and it can be brought down to 50 100 rupees as well per season. So it's very minimal. And like partnership with DeHaat, we are able to easily offset it by offering value in terms of agri input or in terms of output procurement. So that value is easily offset there. When it's the case of the hardware, because already certain geography of farmers were using hardware which was the cost of which was 50,000, 60,000, 70,000 in many cases. So we realized कि एक तो वो niche segment है where we can actually place our current sensor as well, because in our case that cost is somewhere around 12,000 rupees. So we can easily target those farmers. One is that case. Second is handing over these sensors to rural entrepreneurs, to agri extension agents, to crop doctors, to field advisors. So all of these people, which are depending on certain kind of data to improve their livelihood, we provide them with a very good view of the farmers they are working with. We provide them with this sensor, with this technology, and even the retail shops. So certain retail shops who are delivering inputs to the farmer, and even Dehat is having its own hyperlocal mechanism to deliver inputs to the farmers. So those delivery agents, those village representatives take these sensors on the field. It adds an additional income to them. So the cost burden of the hardware or the sensor does not go to the farmer. It falls under the hands of the extension agent, because in his case he will be able to handle 100 200 farmers within the season, in many cases 500 farmers also. So that hardware cost, again, if I consider distributed cost across these farmers, comes down to 20 30 rupees just on the hardware also. So again, everything we do, we try to maintain a less than 500 rupees price band, specifically when we are targeting mass scale farmers. But in case of niche farmers where the crop is very sensitive, where a lot of intervention is required, The pricing there varies depending on what kind of crop there is, how much intervention is required. But yeah, this is how the pricing works.
Okay. And what are NEERX future plans for scaling this technology across India, especially in remote or tribal farming regions?
Yeah. So what we are already doing is, as I told, that this NEERX DeHaat partnership is a result of that only. We want to scale. We want to scale uh, at a rapid pace across these remote areas, tribal areas. So in DeHaat's case, they are present in each and every nook and corner of the country. Okay, and we have seen it firsthand. So if you go, let's say in Chhattisgarh, in a very remote area where even train or buses are not available, so in those areas also Dehat is able to provide services, retail services, advisory services, information services, extension agent services in those areas. So there, I would not say, you know, it was something which we could do on our own. But when we realized that we needed a partner, we got a partner. Now we are acting upon it. We are in that phase where we are actually delivering that right information at right time at right accuracy to those farmers. And that scale also comes in farming community. What happens is, in any region you have to just reach three or four farmers at first. You have to figure out who those three four farmers are, and after those three four farmers, even if you apply a very heavy marketing, a very heavy marketing in a specific region, it would not work that good when compared with word of mouth marketing. So those three four farmers, if they are getting good advisory right time at right intervals, they would actually help you scale it. Because in agriculture, because it's a living process, it's a very complex process, and they already have a very, I would say, a consciousness of its own. So these farming community already have a consciousness of its own. It's just that you enter it, you become part of that consciousness, and you maintain that good intent within that consciousness. Is how you achieve it, how we are sort of evolving and trying to achieve it, and then we are doing it crop by crop. So if I talk about strategy, the strategy is to move crop by crop, geography by geography, and really help starting those farmers which are in need first. So this is how we see the problem, and not just a money making mindset will actually help. It may help in short term, but in the longer term, how the heart is aligned with the vision. We see that this is how we are actually imagining it.
Yeah, one
Hello.
last question. Uh, can you share any success stories where farmers significantly improved productivity or sustainability using NEERX solutions?
Correct, correct. I have hundreds of such cases, or hundred of such reviews or feedbacks that I keep getting. But I would like to share one of my recent experiences, one of my recent, I would say, interaction with a farmer. So there was one farmer in Rajasthan, and he was basically very interested in growing strawberries. So if you see, or if you understand, that Rajasthan is not suitable for strawberries, okay, and to be able to imagine that a farmer would be able to grow strawberries in Rajasthan in certain region, that itself was a very challenging decision to do it. But because the farmer, who was in touch with us, he already decided that I would like to grow strawberries in Rajasthan in this kind of microclimatic zone. So then eventually we started going on to on his fields, even when the plant saplings didn't arrive. So plant saplings, because have to be sort of brought in from Maharashtra. And I from what I remember, there were 10 12,000 plants that he sort of brought in on his farm. And he was first of all excited, but then an anxiety also hit him, that I've sort of ordered these plants, they are coming via train, and we would be placing them, we would be expecting certain tonnage of strawberries from those farms, but the climate is not actually supportive. So what we did is we started studying the historical climate for that specific farmer, because he became very anxious before even the plant saplings arrived. So we did a historic study for that farmer. We did a study using these IoT sensors, satellite data for that specific farm where he was growing these strawberries. It was a kind of a deep study. It is not something that we do very regularly. So there we decided how to actually place the drips, how and when to apply, how much water to apply in those farms, kind of mulch which would be required, how to sort of prepare the soil bed, and to be able to translate the conditions suitable of strawberry in Maharashtra and translate them or create those conditions in Rajasthan. But creating conditions require continuous monitoring and continuous augmenting. So we did that exercise from him for him, and in that case he was expecting somewhere around 3.5 tons of strawberry for what from whatever the area of the land was. And in even mid season he was expecting that number. But we decided that if we don't show him an improvement in the yield, then it doesn't make sense. We have been working for so long in this domain and we are not able to sort of deliver something in that domain. So at the end of the season, you would be surprised, but the yield that he got from that farm was 5 tons, and which is a huge improvement, just because we were able to understand the strawberries. Uh, I would say a favorable climate for strawberry, monitor it within the Rajasthan territory, and then suggest, implement actions, package of practices, nutrient dosages, preventive sprays, all of that just with technology, with lot of engineering, and with lot of interventions of the field. So yeah, this is one of the examples which I remember very clearly, and where we did a very deep dive on how to uh, conquer a very difficult challenge. So 80 to 90% of the strawberry is coming from Maharashtra, and there is specific, Mahabaleshwar is where all of this happens. And तो महाबलेश्वर का क्लाइमेट सिमुलेट करना ही डिफिकल्ट है, बट सिमुलेट नहीं भी कर पाए तो द चैलेंज इज टू मॉनिटर एंड टेक सच करेक्टिव एक्शंस दैट you are on that path, that you get strawberries of that quality and that yield which are similar to Mahabaleshwar, and we were able to achieve it.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Harsh. So I don't see any more questions. So now we have come to end of question round. On
Yeah.
behalf of agricultureinformation.com, we like to thank you for the detailed presentation and answering all the questions in depth.
Yeah.
So we'll be ending this meeting now.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me, and it was my pleasure discussing it with you. And I'll also let you know that this is first of the few sessions that we are doing after this big partnership which took place. And I'll be very happy to collaborate in future as well. But we are a little strict on time, a little low on time, because we are very actively, progressively working towards our mission. But I'll be very happy to do such sessions in future as well. Thank you so much.
Okay, sure. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.